Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Sagittarius. If Sagittarius is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so, Sagittarius, this is a bonus reading and our card tonight is the Queen of Wands. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look and see what do these tea leaves have to say tonight. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you want to hit the like button or leave a comment, please do. I'd love to hear from you. So we have the number 200, okay, 200. We also have, it looks like the number 52. And we have over here 21. You can see right here, 2 and 1, 21. So we have the number 252 as 200, comma, 52, comma, 21. All right. So we also have this face right here. I could not help but see it immediately. We have the two eyes, the nose, the mouth is kind of open. You can see kind of the outside here and looking off towards the past a little bit. We also have, it looks like kind of rain just falling. And we have a black bird up here, right up here. Up here we have the number 60, 60. So I almost feel like you have somebody in your life who is maybe older, maybe a parent, grandparent, maybe a sibling, somebody who I feel like it's like they hit this wall in their life where maybe it's when they retired or maybe their spouse passed away, their family members began to pass away. Their life feels like it's unrecognizable to how it maybe once was, right? And they're going through this period of time where there's a lot of sorrow. There's a lot of kind of just feeling alone in a world that they don't understand, right? Feeling very isolated. And it might be that people don't necessarily visit them that much or do visit, but you have a hard time connecting with them because they're kind of always in this really sunken place. And I feel like it has maybe caused them to kind of, you know, age more quickly, or maybe they have began to neglect things that they were good at taking care of before. You know, like maybe keeping the house picked up or their own hygiene stuff, or, you know, maybe they just don't do anything. You know, they just kind of stay at home by themselves and don't interact with anybody. They don't necessarily like, you know, call or on social medias or whatever. Just kind of out there on their own island. And I feel like you have a lot of empathy here, of course. And you have helped and you have helped and you've tried and you've tried and you've tried. And it's just almost impossible to get them to kind of, you know, change anything. And I feel like this is something that you understand. You can see, you look and see the situation. But it is frustrating and it is heartbreaking. And, you know, it's in your nature to want to help take care of somebody that you love, that, you know, who probably raised you or was a part of raising you. And so I feel like it really is something that it's hard to know what to do, right? It's hard to know how to help when somebody just will not take that help, right? And so, you know, first of all, I think it's important to have people who maybe understand what you're going through, right? Finding a support group or getting on the internet, finding, you know, like a subreddit or a Facebook group or even communities here on YouTube that are kind of focused on, you know, maybe being a caretaker or whatever, you know. And I think it's important for you to connect with other people, to hear other people's situations and how they feel and what they're doing and all of that. I think, you know, it's a difficult situation to be in when, you know, you don't want to force somebody to do things they don't want to do, but you also have to really help make some decisions, right? And not feeling alienated in that caretaker role, you know, which you hear so often that happens to people. They get into these roles of taking care of loved ones who are ailing or their aging parents, and they feel very alone in that experience. And so I think it's important that if you are going through something like this, or you will be going through something like this in the near future, to build yourself a support system, right? And that can be therapy, counseling, support groups, family members, friends, all of the things, right? The more outlets you have, the more resources you have in the way of support, you know, ultimately maybe the better you will handle the difficult times, at least, right? And so, you know, something to consider, something to look into for sure. Now, we also have, it looks like KRC, if that means anything to you. We have a house right here, and it looks like we have like a hard candy, right? If you can think of like the candy, the circular, and then the ends are twisted, like one of those old school hard candies, which, by the way, my favorite, absolutely. I love what are they called? Butterscotch ones. Those are my favorites. Also those little ones that look like strawberries, right? Have the strawberry wrapper. So we also have the heart. And we have this, it looks like a rabbit. I wonder if this is, to me, I'm getting this imagery, this feeling of like visiting grandparents when you were young. Maybe spending your summers there, or maybe they babysat you like after school. But there is this, it's a really warm feeling, like a very beloved memory to you going to their house. And it just felt like perfection there. Does that make sense? I don't know. Like you go there, it feels big and wondrous, and And like there are people there who are happy to see you and they pay attention to you. And you know, like I imagine like grandma and grandpa doing activities with you, sitting and talking to you while you're coloring, and you know, and I just keep thinking of this candy being around. There's like something to do with candy, being given candy, maybe like, you know, as a treat or whatever. But there's just such a warmness. And I keep thinking, I keep getting this image of almost like sitting in like the dining room, or maybe it's in the kitchen table or whatever, but being able to kind of hear the television in the background and just listening to like your grandfather maybe laughing. And for some reason, it feels like it's like one of those things that you could almost cry over. Like even when you're young and you're not, you're open emotionally and experiencing all kinds of very powerful and moving emanations, you know, but not necessarily sentimental yet, right? But this feels like even when you were young, there was like a sentimentality to hearing somebody you loved, trusted, when they were with you and they were talking to you and paying attention to you, it felt like the whole world was open to you. And to hear them enjoying something, listening to the television or laughing or whatever, and it's almost like you could cry because it's such a pure feeling, like such a joy, right? A joy in hearing somebody you love have a moment of just, you know, peace. And I think that you've always kind of stayed that type of person. You love to like do well, right? We all do. You love to win a little bit and hope that everybody kind of comes out on top. But I think at times you even enjoy seeing the people you love succeed more than yourself, right? When your kids were doing well in school, or, you know, the spelling bee or their first track meet, or, you know, whatever, and you see them working hard and really applying themselves and having these moments of victory and, well, and progress, right? And having this deep connection where it's like, you know, you feel more seeing them do that than if you were the one that was doing it, right? It kind of reminds me of like when I was younger, I could never fully understand, right, how people were crying at like weddings. I don't know why. I just always like kind of thought I mean, I get it. It's very emotional and, you know, a beautiful ritual, and you're happy for the people that you're witnessing and all of that. But I didn't necessarily understand. And then I had my daughter, right? And I can understand it so much now. I will start crying over just the other day. She's 4. And she got done with her breakfast, and I was in the kitchen cleaning, and she walks up and says, "Here, Mom." And I turned around and she was holding her plate. She put all of her stuff on her plate and she brought it into the kitchen. And I almost cried. Not because I'm like, oh, I'm glad that she is, you know, picking up after herself. I mean, that's part of it. But to see somebody evolve as a being, right? And start to catch on to things. And to also do it from a place of love and care, and being a part of this family and a part of this household and a part of everything that's happening. you know, and they're so beloved to you. And yeah, I had a little tears, you know, and I feel like, yeah, this is one of those situations. It is as emotional as crying at like your child's wedding, right? When, of course, when they're an adult, when they get married, when they're an adult, and crying at their wedding, but it's the same. And I feel like it's the same kind of energy thinking about these visits with your grandparents. I think it was so important to you. And now I feel like if you are a grandparent now yourself, or you're going to be a grandparent, and maybe it's not even the grandparent, just being a person that is involved with people in your life that you really care about, your chosen family, your friends group, whatever. I see you wanting to be that place for other people. That you want to have that same effect on people. That you are, you know, a safe harbor. That you are a place of, you know, they come to your house and the kids are visiting and there's things to do and you're involved with them and you're asking them questions about themselves and you remember the names of their friends and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And you want them to be able to have the same kind of connection, to know that they're so fully cared about, unconditionally loved, that there's a place for them in the world where they will always be welcome. And not only that, they will be celebrated. And I think that's the thing, is that you really have activated that empath, that healer, that caregiver aspect of yourself and developed it, cultivated it. These things, they come naturally to everybody, but more so some than others. And that can only get you so far, really. These are things that have to be cultivated as well. And I think that you have been intentional in that kind of growth of self. And it's a beautiful thing, because it's a rarity in life that somebody gives so much care to others. Okay, so I'm looking up here. Somebody with JT, maybe initials. And I'm looking right here. We have 4 people. This person's running away and looking back, right? This person, I think, there's somebody walking towards this other person over here. I feel like they're greeting each other. This person, I feel like, is following. So I almost kind of feel like what is this dynamic here going on? Almost kind of like, I keep getting this feeling of like coming home at the end of the day when you're a kid with like your siblings and you've gotten into trouble and your mom's waiting on the back porch for you and you have to march yourselves up there and explain to her like what happened. Why did you take off the neighbor? Why did you get a ride home in the police car? You know, whatever. And one of those siblings, notorious for just taking off, right? Right when things are about to get kind of difficult, uncomfortable, they're out of there, right? But I feel like, yeah, and I imagine this is you right here, the one that walks steadily into taking responsibility for your part in this action, right? And being protective of somebody else who maybe is like a younger sibling, a friend that is younger or something like this. Now, I don't feel like there's this energy of having maybe a parent that would just, go off on you or anything. But I do think that, there's a reasonable amount of respect and maybe kind of worried that you'll upset your parents a little bit, and I don't know why this is coming up, but I feel like it's something that you've thought about, especially this sibling here that always cuts out, right? That's always gone MIA. And I wonder, actually, if this goes back to the beginning where we're talking about trying to take care of a family member who does not want your help. Having a sibling, right, that says they're going to be involved and they just are not. They're just, you can't even get a hold of them. They're not answering calls or texts. They won't come see, your parent or parents or whatever. And I feel like it's kind of like, why should I be surprised? Why would I be surprised by this? This is somebody who's always left the burden on the rest of us. And I feel like there's maybe a sense of not wanting to become resentful or angry or feeling, just like you're just so upset with them because you already knew it was going to be like this. And it's not worth your time or effort or the real estate in your mind to give away to them because this is just what it is, right? And I think that there's been a struggle there to try to let it go for your betterment and for the betterment of the people around you, right? Not for the sibling's sake. It's not for that. Now we have a large I right here, okay? I feel like it really is this kind of message of you're being watched over, okay? And I feel like this might be that grandma, might be mom, but it is a feminine energy, and it feels very much like this, we'll figure it out. Don't worry, we're gonna figure it out. It's okay. Don't start going into a spiral. We're gonna figure this out, okay? And I feel like this is the energy that you're really, really drawing upon. And it is. It's helping you go step by step, baby steps here. Taking your time, not getting into a place of, getting worked up or, kind of doom spiraling and all of that. I think that this really is an energy, like a light. It almost feels like a halo effect a little bit. Almost like you have felt like things are a little bit brighter around you in the home. It feels like this is centered around the house. And I think it is their energy interacting with you in these moments where you're starting to panic or you're starting to think about this sibling who, where are they, right? And I don't know that this is their name, and actually I put the water back in here, so it's probably gone, but I saw the name Jon in there, so I wonder if their name is John or if there's a John involved. Somewhere, a John. We also have the number 15. I also see we have a person sitting in a meditative state. It looks like they're in a cave or an egg, okay? So to me, this feels like remembering that you need to take time for yourself. You need to rest. You need to do your spiritual practices. Keep yourself balanced in the ways that, you know, feel like they may be waning a bit. And I think it is. There's a need for some solitude here and there. A need for some quieting of the mind and just allowing yourself to exist in this almost kind of non-place, right? If you think of the cave or the egg, obviously they are very much related to kind of the imagery of the womb, the mother, our origin, and kind of being in a place of incubation and rest and being cared for and all of that. So, you know, I think it's important that you find that place for yourself. If that's sitting in your garden or going for a walk, if it's your bedroom or, you know, your house in general, find the place that is for you and make sure that you're allowing yourself the time that you need to recharge there. Okay? All right, so we're going to do our self-care affirmation cards, and I'm going to stop where it feels right. It says, authentic strength. I find strength in vulnerability. I am honest with people I trust. My struggles are opportunities for growth. I am authentically alive. I am authentically alive. Yes. All right. So, Sagittarius, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you, and if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel, and if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe, and what else? Oh, yes. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all and I love hearing from you, especially if you're new to the channel. Definitely shout it out in the comments section. All right. With that, I'm going to tell you again, I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a few days. Good night.